My intention on this channel is to demonize consumerism, but not necessarily to demonize social media at the same time. I think the rate of consumerism that's normalized in our culture is quite literally detrimental to the environment. I don't really think there's a way to make an argument against that when you look at all of the environmental crises we're facing. I don't think the same can be said for social media. I think you can point to social media and see how it's done some real good, while I think you can also point to it and see how it's done some real harm. My point in telling you this is that the point of contention today is going to be that I see a bunch of ads while I'm using social media in a positive way. I don't want to give up social media just because I don't want to be shopping all of the time, but I'm so sick of the amount of ads I get on all platforms other than YouTube, because $10 for YouTube Premium is the best $10 I spend every month. But you can't do that on Instagram and you can't do that on TikTok. And we've gone even further past ads now to where just about everything you see on social media is trying to sell you something. I made a video all about this topic recently, so if you want to watch it, I'm going to link it up here, and it talks about how hyperconsumerism has taken over the internet, why it's problematic, and how we can do something about it. So maybe watch that video after this one, but today we're going to take the essence of that video and apply it to my Instagram and my TikTok. We're going to scroll through my Instagram and essentially de-influence the ads I get on there, and I'll also show you some of the incredibly wasteful and poorly targeted things I get on TikTok now that TikTok Shop is being so pushed. I have to give you my little spiel before we start scrolling, because that's just what we do around here, and if you don't already know my spiel, probably hit the subscribe button because you're gonna need to stick around. So my spiel is that basically everything we buy has an environmental footprint before it makes it to us, and the Story of Stuff is an incredible resource for this. But basically what I want you to understand is that if you take one product like this phone, which I bought secondhand, but we're gonna use it for an example. When you take a phone like this and you think about all the parts that went into it, all the different metals, the plastics, the chemicals, the manufacturing, etc. Different parts of this phone were sourced all over the world. When we source those materials, oftentimes we are clear-cutting forests, we are strip mining, we are exploiting people and the planet in where those things are being mined. Then we have to ship those things all over the world, use more energy in transportation, more energy in manufacturing, and then we ship it all over the world again so that you can get it in your hand. And all of that environmental impact is done before you ever click buy now, add to cart, or go to a store, if anybody still does that. I say this because a lot of people associate sustainability, environmentalism with the end of the life cycle and the waste, right? The things that we see happen. You're not throwing your iPhone in the landfill, so what's the problem? The problem is all of the things that happen before it makes it to you, and that goes for just about every single thing we buy. The majority of the environmental footprint happens before it makes it to you, and what happens after it gets to you is important, but it's not nearly as important as reducing, you know, the first R in reduce, reuse, recycle. It's not nearly as important as reducing the amount of things that we're buying. So that's my hope with this video, is to get your wheels turning up in your head that you don't need the things that you see on social media, and also trying to recognize how everything that we scroll past these days is likely trying to get you to buy something. Okay, here we go, into the Instagram app. We'll scroll past all my wonderful people. Actually, let's just give a shout out to the first 3 things on my feed real quick, because I work really hard to curate my feed to not be about consumerism and to be about wonderful, powerful, incredible people. First we have Patagonia. You should follow them. Get to Marry, which an incredible woman. Deandra, which is an environmental activist here in Austin, Texas. But we're gonna keep scrolling until we find the things that we don't necessarily want to be seeing. Oh, okay, here's the first ad, and this is why I say it is so incredibly perfectly targeted to me, and it makes me crazy. Okay, so this is an ad for PCA skincare. If you've been following me for a while, you may know that skincare is the only form of self-care that I do consistently, and I take pride in my skincare routine. It is something that I spend money on. It is something that I will buy. So it's very frustrating when I see ads like this, because it's so targeted, and it gets worse than that. But let me also tell you that one of the things that I've discussed with my management team, who helps me manage brand deals and things like that, there is only one area of sponsorship that I have told them to turn down absolutely everything that comes our way, and it's skincare, body care, those sort of things. Not that this brand that I'm getting an ad for is particularly sustainable, and we can talk about that, but the amount of people who have realized that skincare and body care are essentials, that they are things that you have to restock, that they are pretty easy switches for people interested in sustainability. Everyone in their fucking mom has decided they need a skincare line, a soap line, a shampoo line, etc., etc., etc. And unfortunately, what I've noticed over the time of me making content on sustainable options online is that so many of the brands that come along, they don't last. And it's because they're just not that great, and I don't want to work with any of them. So I have just told my team, if that stuff comes in, the answer is no. I've been using the same shampoo for years. It's the only thing that touches my hair. Unless I'm traveling, then I'll test out a different shampoo bar here and there. I feel like that's a whole other topic that we could get into about how influencers and creators online switch up the brands they use all the time depending on who's willing to pay them. That's never been my motto here on this channel. I've been using the same shampoo since, I think almost since I've been on the internet. I've tested out different ones here and there for content specifically. But even after all of that, I always stick with the same brand of shampoo. And that's why when I link to things that I talk about, I don't feel guilty doing it because I'm sticking to what actually is like my favorite, what works, and that's that. We went off on a tangent. Let me tell you why this PCA ad is so problematic. So the esthetician I go to sells PCA skincare, and they were talking to me about how I need to be exfoliating my skin more or something. I mean, I like skincare, but I don't need to add products to my routine. And they were talking to me about this one product that like would really just change my life, you know. Isn't that always it? The product is always gonna change your life. So I'm assuming that because I went to her and because we talked about it, that is why this is showing up on my Instagram. It's so crazy to me because this type of ad would work on me. Like, I like skincare. This is one that I have recently been considering. Like, this is so insidious because I didn't Google them, I don't think. So who knows how this ended up on my Instagram page, but this is why I don't scroll Instagram anymore, because their ads are so good and I don't need more shit. I don't want to be convinced that I do. But let's keep scrolling. Man, I rarely get this deep into my feed. I do not scroll this long. Okay, we found our next ad. Can you guess what it is? It's a sustainable cleaning company. Because this is my job, I have reviewed this brand before and I'm very familiar with them. I think some of their products are good. I have my issues with them because they spread some misinformation or misleading information, a little bit of propaganda, if you will. So I personally don't buy from this brand, but I'm fully aware of them. And I'm fully aware that this is a perfectly targeted ad at someone like me. It makes so much sense that they would think, oh, yeah, let's serve her this. This is definitely something she would click and buy. And here's the thing with ads like this one specifically. Cleaning products are pretty much an essential, right? So cleaning products are something that traditionally I would take on sponsorships for because they're things that you need. So I think this is like one of the lesser problematic ads that I would get on my Instagram, but it still is like something I didn't want to be scrolling past. Like, if I'm not in the mindset to be looking for new eco-friendly cleaners, why am I getting ads for it? Why would I want to just be scrolling past something that I then like need to make a mental note of, or I start thinking, oh, well, is the stuff I'm using good enough? Or now I need to jump into research about, should I be using this brand? Is it better? And you know, I just feel like it can lead to so much more distraction than I signed up for. I didn't get on Instagram to buy things. That's what I've never gotten on Instagram, to just shop. And also, caveat before we keep scrolling, can we talk about how they moved where the notification button is and turned it into the shopping icon? This might be old news, but I didn't see anybody talk about it when it happened, how where our notifications used to be turned into the shopping tab. And I'm guessing enough people had a problem with that now it's the Reels tab. But yeah, these apps are really trying to get a piece of the pie, like I phrased it in my last video. They really want to figure out how to get some of the money that people are using their apps to find the products and then going on to their websites and making the purchases. So they've created the shop on Instagram and the TikTok shop, all that sort of stuff. That's the goal here. But let's keep scrolling. Okay, this is actually quite funny to me that I just got another ad for body care stuff. I've been talking about how I feel like Instagram's ads are so curated so well to me. And basically the ads that we're seeing right now show me that Instagram has figured out that I'm only going to buy essentials. I'm only going to buy things to clean myself or my home. We'll see as we go if it gets any different. Okay, let's find one more and then we'll switch over to TikTok because I think I already made my point. You see how targeted my ads are and how when I see things, I really think I need to stop and think about, oh, should I be using this? Oh, do I need to switch to this? Should I research this brand? Is this worth ever talking about on my, on my social media as well? That's always in my head specifically, like if I need to know about these things and all those sort of things. And another aspect of ads actually on Instagram is that people like you who want to ask someone you trust to test it out, tell you if you think it's good and all those sort of stuff. At least that's what I hope to be for you, that if you see something and you think it's suspicious, that you'll ask me and I can help you. I want to be that. The only problem is that a lot of the ways people are learning about brands now is this. They see an ad, they send it to me, they ask me what I think. And fair enough, I'm not saying I have a problem with that, but I do think we wouldn't be exposed to as much crap if it weren't for these ads. Okay, we've got a bit of a different one here. It's a swimsuit company, You Swim. A grounding earthy green, it says. Do you understand why they're targeting me? So let's read into this. It looks like it's incredibly size inclusive, which is also really important to me. I mean, there's also the grounding earthy green part, which I'm assuming is part of why I got this specific ad. So this is a consumable that I would not consider an essential, especially because I surely have a bathing suit that I can use already. I try not to buy new swimsuits every year. I know that that is definitely a trend that I have reacted to when it comes to fast fashion hauls on YouTube, even Instagram, TikTok, all of those things, and I just try not to participate in that. I'm also like a very simple person. If something looks good on me, if I think it like doesn't make me insecure about the way it makes my body look, I'm just gonna stick with it, and I'm not gonna buy a new swimsuit every year and then have to go through that whole process of deciding when I'm wearing this if I feel self-conscious about it. And that's just me being honest. That's a rule I set up with myself long ago. So ads like this are not necessarily tempting to me because that is a very specific rule I set for myself. But I do think for most people, when they scroll past something like that and the color and the branding and the ethos that appears to be around the brand makes sense to them, of course now they're going to consider if they need a new bathing suit. Tell me if you got a swimsuit ad that literally spoke to your ethics, spoke to what's important to you about size inclusivity, colors, if they use words like earthy green and that's what you care about, or whatever it is that you care about. It doesn't matter. It may not be the same things for me as you. But does that then entice you to think if you need a swimsuit? And even if it's not immediate, even if you don't click shop now and buy it right now, that is in your brain. You can't get rid of it in your brain. And the next time that you are sitting outside at this swimming, or you're sitting at the lake or a spring or a pool or wherever the fuck you are, and you're thinking, that person's swimsuit's so much cuter than mine, or I feel a little bit like my swimsuit, I've worn it so many times, it's kind of boring. It's impossible for it not to get into your mind if you're being marketed that you need a new swimsuit, that next time you're wearing one, you may think, yeah, I should just get one. I remember seeing that ad for that brand and I'll just buy it. Ads are not even quite that specific that you would then be thinking about that and think about that brand and go back and buy it. That's not quite how marketing works. It's much deeper and psychological than that. But I do think that the way that we're consuming content, and specifically marketing and ads and things like this, is having effects on us that we're not even able to tie directly back to it. Just like when you're in therapy and things happen in your life and you're trying to connect it back to something that happened in childhood, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, but I think the overall impact on our minds, on the environment, on our wallets, that seeing ads like this repeatedly is having, it can't be positive. It's simply not a positive. Okay, let's switch over to TikTok so you can see just how not targeted the ads on TikTok are. They are, and you know what? Oh, we already have a TikTok shop. First thing I scrolled on. This one may be a little bit targeted to me because I do love fall, but so does like every other white girl on TikTok. It has 600,000 likes, so I don't think I got this because they know I love fall. It's also like not really a great targeted TikTok shop for me because it's Texas. This is a sweatshirt. I'm not in the mood to buy a sweatshirt right now. It's 102 outside. But now I think on top of ads, we also have TikTok shop. And so it's kind of doubled the amount of things I'm being told I need to buy on my For You page. And I've gotten really good at recognizing when something is sponsored and when something is TikTok shop, so I can see it as soon as it comes up and just scroll and try to just ignore it and not let it affect my psyche. But obviously it's ruining my experience of being on an app that used to make me feel connected to people in my community, that used to make me feel like I was learning. I mean, relating. I mean, that's such a lame thing to say, but I do scroll on TikTok a lot because I want to relate to other humans, and that's what I used to come to TikTok for. It doesn't feel like that's even an option for me now, but anyway, let's find an ad. Okay, this is what I mean. This is like a dermatologist talking about an ad for Neutrogena. Like, yes, I like skincare, but not Neutrogena. They don't have any sort of like sustainability features, and they are, I don't even know if Neutrogena is cruelty free, but honestly, it doesn't matter to me because I would never buy it. This is an ad that I could easily scroll past And that's how my ads on TikTok differ from my ads on Instagram. Oh my God. This was literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scrolls later. I have another ad. I'm also confused what this ad is for because it has a link to a brand. Oh, but then it says Lemon8, which I thought was like a substitute for TikTok. See, their ads just suck. Their ads, I don't even know what this ad is for. Ugh, and then I scroll again and then it's for a TikTok shop. Again, a sweatshirt. Girl, no, I don't want a sweatshirt. And also, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I just wasn't, I wasn't wowed by the Barbie movie. I think it's overhyped. Even if this was meant to be a targeted TikTok shop towards me, it ain't working because I don't want a sweatshirt. I don't want to buy anything. And I don't care to buy anything Barbie branded. Madison and I literally walked out of the movie, looked at each other and was like, so what did you think? And I was like, it was pretty underwhelming. I mean, maybe this is a whole video topic in and of itself. Let me know if you're interested in this. But I just feel like, A, if you're like somewhat aware of social justice, nothing in that movie was new to you. And number 2, really the only empowerment of the movie is that like girls can also participate in capitalism the same way men can. Felt very much like capitalism propaganda. I don't know if that's a hot take, but that's what I felt walking out of it. The first half of the movie felt cool and I liked it, I enjoyed it. And then the second half, they just lost me. What happened to the plot of the movie? Let's see how many more scrolls I got until I reach a TikTok shop or an ad. This was 1, 2, 3. I'm about to mess up my algorithm. Literally 3 swipes and I've got another ad and it's Apple Pay, which is really generic. Again, not very well targeted. To be honest, someone asked me to use Apple Pay the other day at a garage sale and I didn't know how to do it and I felt like such a boomer. This is so interesting because it's essentially not an ad to buy anything, but it's saying, hey, all the other shit you're buying on this app, use Apple Pay. Wink, wink. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm offended! This one's a little bit more targeted because it's supposed to be a sustainable and affordable underwear brand. To be honest, I thought about using them as a topic in and of themselves for marketing on TikTok because they have just taken over the For You page for like over a year now. They're just like every few minutes on my TikTok and I've never bought from them. I was just scrolling on TikTok to learn about what the Taylor Swift surprise songs this week were. And now I'm thinking if I need to buy new underwear. And again, I say, if I could pay a TikTok premium and not see ads anymore, sign me up. You know how much money the average person would probably save if they literally didn't have to see ads? Like if we could all pay $10 to use these platforms, and yes, that would suck because we're not used to having to pay to use these platforms, but if we could opt into paying and not seeing ads, I guarantee you would save money on the $10 a month it would cost as opposed to seeing endless ads. Because I don't, like I said at the beginning, I don't want to give up Instagram. I don't want to give up TikTok. I like connecting with people. I like learning new things. I think these platforms can be used for good. I don't want the cost of that to be that I have to be marketed to constantly. 1, 2, 3, TikTok shop. Now let me tell you, this dress has been all over my For You page. It's actually been really overwhelming for me. That dress design is a dress that Free People has been selling for years and years and years. And who knows, maybe Free People sold it somewhere along the line. I'm not here to stick up for Free People like they're the most ethical company, most original company ever, because I'm sure they're not. But I will say that that dress has been like something I have dreamed of for years and years and years of my life. Like since early college, Free People has had a dress exactly like that one, and it's so expensive from Free People, and B, they don't really make things in my size. Sometimes if I find their stuff at Buffalo Exchange, like, or Plato's, like, it works, but I would never. Anyway, not the point. The point is I've been dreaming of this dress for years. So it does feel like I keep getting that dress on my For You page because maybe somewhere along the way I watched one of the videos a little bit longer than I would normally watch an ad or a TikTok shop, and now TikTok thinks if they show it to me enough, I'm gonna buy it. And I think for most people, that would be true. And I think that's actually something that's really insidious about this TikTok shop. So I recommend that you use a waiting period when you're trying to buy anything. If you're interested in buying something, give yourself a waiting period, wait that amount of time, and then after that amount of time, if you still want it, buy it. In my opinion, because I've been wanting this dress for years, this would fit for me. I literally, like, there's no reason for me not to buy that dress other than I'm mad that TikTok wants me to buy that dress. That is so disturbing that these algorithms have figured out how to get inside my head to that degree. And that's why I wanted to make this video. This is actually a really great example of how insidious these marketing tactics are. I actually kind of forgot that this example was happening for me right now on TikTok with this dress. It's just a really good example. Like, I literally see it every day. And there is part of this that's like exposure therapy, right? If you see it enough times, if you're reminded of it enough times, if you see people who are beautiful and saying it's the best thing and it's this viral dress, of course the average person would just fucking buy it. And that can be said for so many things, right? When something is trending in the fashion community, when something is trending in the beauty community, all they gotta do is show it to people enough times before they click buy now. And I wanna denormalize that. My whole goal with this video, and a little bit with my channel now, because I feel like in the past, I used to do these things called anti-hauls, where literally you guys would send me stuff, which I loved, and you can definitely we'll maybe pick that up with videos and ads and things like that on this channel. We can make this more of a series if you want. But my goal back in the day I wasn't so aware that the goal that I was working towards was a culture shift. I think at the time I just liked ranting because it made me so mad that people didn't see that they were harming the planet and people all along the ways of buying all of these things made largely in unethical ways. And I would just rant about it. And a lot of times like shame people or make people feel guilty for their purchases. I don't necessarily think that works on most people. It always felt good to rant, and it helped you guys like kind of be reminded that you didn't need these things, that all of these marketing tactics are trying to convince you do. That's the old me though, I think. And the old me also would talk about what people were buying, what individual people were buying, and kind of criticize those people. My goal with this new maybe revamp, if you guys want a series on this, is to criticize the brands who are putting money behind trying to make us buy things, which is a lot more insidious. And I also think my motivation is to change the culture that is normal, that people think it's normal to just see something, like it, want it, buy it. I want to change that culture and not blame any individuals for it, because again, it's a culture and there's psychology behind it and there's money behind it convincing you of all these things. And if I revamp this series in that way, I want that to be the approach, that I want these videos to exist as an attempt at changing the consumerism culture that we currently live under. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope maybe this talked you out of buying some things. That's kind of my whole passion, is just telling people not to buy shit. And in the conversations where we talk about, is it corporations, is it governments, is it individuals' responsibility to save the planet? Do individuals play any role? Should I be spending more money on sustainable cleaning supplies? Does it really help the planet? Should I feel guilty about using a plastic straw? Does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? And I think we can debate those things all day long, but at the end of the day, I think it's gonna take all of us to actually save the planet. But I think more than that, the thing that I'm asking you to do is just to not spend your money. My request in you contributing to helping the planet is just stop buying shit. And I think that's just about the easiest thing that any of us can do. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and maybe go check out one of my previous videos. And remember, until next time, do your best and advocate for the rest. Bye, guys.